Friday or Thursday morning, and we're on the line this morning with Philip Martell. He's the superintendent of the River Valley School District. Kind of hard to concentrate when you get a day like this. When you have a week like this, my goodness. But we're going to try. Our conversation brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Mr. Martell, good morning.
Good morning, Todd. Glad to be here.
I'm glad you're with us here this morning. Lots to talk about, as always, with the River Valley School District, and that STEAM Academy continues to, pick up steam. There's a lot happening around that building lately.
There is, and, we just continue to move forward. Our kids are well now into, starting October, a little over a month. So, we've had, they've had some great opportunities. We got, as you said, got a lot of excitement generated about it. We're already planning, what we're going to be doing, obviously, next year moving forward and continue to evolve. That's one thing. We will always be in a planning mode to be able to provide the best resources and tools for our students as, those workforce needs evolve in our country.
Well, an interesting thing to me is to look back at the beginning of the school district itself, but then when you look at the River Valley progress on things such as the STEAM Academy, and I don't know what your expectations were when you first got started and whether those expectations have been met. I suspect that they have, but I know that you're always looking for some way to improve and some programs that you think are going to help the district itself and the district students, and that's happening, isn't it?
It is, and Todd, a lot of times my staff will say to me, hey, take a step back a minute, take a step back, and please understand what you've really accomplished. Because I push myself, and I just push myself to want to be able to bring the breath, to continue to evolve and change, and like I said, to provide those resources, and that's why constantly, we'll be working at it. We got amazing partnerships that are starting to develop now with other school districts because of the things that we're doing in our school district. So I feel like we're not only helping our school district, but we're going to be able to help other districts in the region, and that's the fun part of this starting to kick in now when people start to see, hey, how can I be a part of that?
Yeah. Absolutely. Meanwhile, the school district itself moving forward with some of the other initiatives that you have going, the athletic complex that is being developed is always a matter of interest, and folks are looking at the way that is developing. And that's one of the things about something like that. You get to see the progress almost every time you drive onto campus, right?
You do, and we're excited, and the contractors are moving pretty good. Our hope is to have the facility be able to be used by our track and field team coming this spring. Knock on wood, but hopefully if we have another mild winter like last year, they'll be able to continue to progress. You really could see it. And we constantly, our director of facilities, Joe Hughes, loves to take the drone up. So you can see on our website, we're constantly weekly putting pictures up just so the people that can't get up on campus, because we want to keep the community involved and we want to let them know how the process and how the project's moving forward. So, because the kids are excited too. I mean, it's just beyond belief how excited they are.
Yeah, it really is, and you see that happening and understand what it's going to be like and how different it's going to be when you get to next season. Meanwhile, though, I think they're doing a really wonderful job of integrating the Salzburg field into some of the athletic programs and some of the things that you have to do for this year.
We have, and I will tell you, it's really been great because we were fortunate. Obviously, we had two facilities, but now we did, with both being grass. We were able, it makes sense. Practice on one, play on another, keep the other one in tip-top shape, and the field looks great. We've had capacity crowds, a lot of it because of our football team, obviously doing have a lot of success too. So we've got a couple of big games coming up in the near future. And but the facility and the community have embraced it, and it's been a huge success.
Yeah, as long as we're talking about the construction over at the high school complex itself, there actually is a bit of a traffic pattern change that started today, right? And that's going to be in place for about a week.
That's going to be in place for about a week. Yeah, we had a little bit of a curveball, but nothing that we can't deal with. Like I said, our transportation director, Larissa Chiney, and our high school major constantly communicating. And I'll tell you about that's the key with all of this, because they communicate and we communicate with our community, and that's why we have had no problems. Since knock on wood again, since the beginning of the year, with the start of school, with the communication breaks down all those barriers, and I'm very proud of the efforts that they put forward to help our community and our students navigate this construction process.
Hey, I wanted to get into a topic that I talked about with Rob Heinrich the other day when he was here from Indiana Area School District, and that was the safety and security issue that comes up anytime you hear something like happened at Hempfield High School this week. I know it makes you want to go back and look at what you're doing within your school district. That was a situation in which students brought guns to school. Nobody wants to see that, and that's a very, very scary situation. Speaking of communication, when something of that nature occurs within the school district, I know there are procedures that you follow to get the news out to parents, and how frightening it must be for them to hear something like that. That's something you have to always be sensitive to, isn't it?
You do, and especially with this day and age that you and I know that we live with social media, so much inaccurate information gets out there. So Kathy Bonko, who heads up our grants and safety, coordinated one heck of a safety plan, which has people have their duties and functions, and her 20+ years of experience is invaluable. We went and we redesigned our safety and security plan because we also aligned it with the district cybersecurity plan itself, like for our defenses, because that's just as much a part of anything today when you talk about safety and security of a school district. It's the threat of obviously violence, but also then the threat of your information being hacked and sold. So, but we're constantly talking, communicating with our students too. But that's just an unfortunate situation to have built. I'm sure they will look back and make sure that they have proper procedures shored up. It's nothing that anybody wants to deal with. Just thank God that the students didn't have any ill intent.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, wonderful job by the students who actually saw that some of their schoolmates had weapons in school, and they called attention to it right away. And that's the way that you want your students to react in those situations.
Absolutely.
Yeah. While we're talking security, I thought that it was interesting as well, talking with Mr. Heinrich the other day and getting your perspective on it too. There is a group of people that is involved in school security at every single sporting event that you have, every extracurricular event. Anytime something happens at the school and it's off school hours, there still are security officers there. You've got to pay great attention to other people coming onto your school campus and the potential that they would have to harm somebody. And so you're always looking out, aren't you?
We are, and we're very blessed to have 4 incredible full-time officers, that the board that we've budgeted for, retired police officers, state troopers led by Kurt Almendinger, and we also have a supplementary support staff that works with them for these, as you mentioned, for all these events. You and I both know we live in a completely different world than it was 20 years ago, so there's no price you can put on the amount of security and planning that goes into these events, and that's even just not like now, but at events. But we're having discussions about what that's going to look like at the new athletic complex next year. But it's going to be completely different than what's set up in Blairsville, Salzburg. So that's a constant communication and dialogue that we have to have, and it's a challenge at times. But we've invested, our board financially into paying our officers really well, and because we're in a tight labor market on a lot of fronts, but that's no different. So. Like I said, we're very fortunate to have the 4 full-time individuals that we do that carry arms too. So
yeah. Well, speaking of the tight employment market out there, I know that you and every other school district you're always on the lookout for somebody to fill the substitute teacher roles, and that's a really big challenge these days. How is it going for your school district this year so far?
We work very closely with our teachers union and the leadership under Kathy Muir, and when we negotiated the contract and finished it up over the summer, Todd, we got creative and put a sick time incentive in there that incentivized it to not utilize the day. So we in the hope that we wouldn't need as many substitutes. And I will tell you, after the first month, it's been very positive. We have a lot of people that are not taking time off. So that incentive, it'll be interesting once we get through a full year to see if that incentive, if that worked out for the district. Because to us, it was worth it to put some money towards that, because honestly, it's less money we're paying towards subs. If our people were at work every day, they're able to come to work. So the first month has been positive. So let's just see, as we continue to move forward. But that's how you really have to do it. Because there's just not enough bodies. So you have to have a great collective bargaining agreement to be able to hire the best people you can, You also have to be able to get creative with incentives like what we did to keep our teachers in the buildings during the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we head into cold and flu season. Teachers and students will be sharing a lot of rooms together, and that brings the potential with it for students to get sick and teachers as well. So the cold and flu season is a challenge, and people might not think that it is something that a school district has to pay attention to, but it is.
No question about it. And we've even seen the uptick in COVID cases again. And it's just a different response than it was 3-4 years ago, when we started with 3 years ago with this whole process. But that's still going to be a challenge, along as you said, with a cold and flu season. It's a challenge for really anybody. But COVID's still out there rearing its ugly head, and we just have to be cognizant of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, anything else folks need to know about what's going on at River Valley these days?
No, I will tell you, just keep in tune to our social media outlets. We're promoting everything that we're doing. We have some exciting news coming up in the next few months, about some more partnerships that are going to, engage, be beneficial for our students, but help us, collaborate with other districts. So I look forward to talking to you more about that in the near future.
Yeah, and you got a pretty big football game coming tomorrow night too, don't you?
We do, and like I said, the coaches have done a great job. Our boys have worked tremendously. They've worked really hard, and our band is growing. The great job by Adam Bukowski. I will tell you, he's been a fantastic hire for our district as our band director and music instructor. So it's all coming together very nicely.
All right, Philip Martell, have a wonderful day today. Thanks for the visit. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Todd. Take care. Talk to you soon.
All righty.